Yeah, Jamie, how are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Like I said to you offline, it was you're just first of all, your playing is phenomenal, but I think your
Thank you.
content is really engaging, really funny, and yeah, it's there was one of your lessons that you did just before Christmas, and I should have fucking saved it because now I'm searching for it. And it was
Yeah.
like I think it was an alternate picking exercise, but the downbeats were landing in different spots of the bar each time. It was like a
Oh,
cycle. It
okay.
was like a cycle
Something
of
like that.
seven or
Yep.
something, and it was
Yep.
or it was a really odd finger placement where the finger placement you wouldn't usually do the accent in that position.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's a
Right.
good one. And then I went to find it the other day, and I was like, can't find it. So if you remember which one it was, let me know.
You know what? So I post the majority of my tutorial stuff is on my Patreon. Like that's my lesson content platform.
Yeah.
And so, but I post a weekly lesson video. So
Okay.
Meaning that it's always, what's the next lesson? What's the next lesson? What's the next lesson? So then it's like 4 lessons ago. I'm like, what did we do?
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. No, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
And it's funny because on YouTube and stuff, I post a lot of like practice etudes, like things that are musical to practice, right?
Yeah, it was definitely something like that. It was an exercise, but it didn't sound like a scale. It was something musical.
Think maybe I know what you mean then. Yeah, like which one? But the funny thing is, like, that's how I like to practice to keep things interesting and keep things musical. Is like, to me, it always has to come back to something musical. I really don't like, spending a lot of time on something that doesn't sound good, right? Like to me, it's not worth it. So I'm always trying to find something nice sounding to practice. Yeah. So then a lot of those etudes that I make, I make that day, and then I record it, I film it, and then I never play it again. I'm on to the next thing, right? So then students will be like, oh, I'm working on your etude from a few months ago. How did you do that part? I'm like, you probably know it better than I do at this point. Like,
you tell me, how are you doing it?
Let's watch the video together and learn what I did.
It's that old adage. It's kind of that old adage of when you're teaching, so long as you're a page ahead of your student, you'll be okay.
Well, or a lot of the covers too. Like, I'll post a Mr. Crowley solo or something like that, and it's probably like the last time I've played it recently is that video, right? And then people are like, "Hey, play Mr. Crowley," and I'm like, "I'd have to kind of relearn it." It's funny. It's not top of mind all the time. That's not the way this works, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about practicing then. As you've already mentioned it, we'll go straight into it. What's how do you view practicing? Like, do you call practicing? Do you is it playing to you? Like, what's your approach?
It's a really good question. I would say it depends. It depends on where you're at, what you're trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. For me now, I would say I do very little practice. I try to play the guitar every day, but I do very little regimented practice that people would expect as practice, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it always comes back to the music. It always comes back to the kind of music that you're wanting to play. So what I mean is, if I'm trying to either learn a song or write something myself and I can't quite do something, then I gotta fine tune it separately and practice that and try to get it down, right? So a lot of those little etudes that I post, I have to sit there myself for a half hour or something and try to get what's tricky about it. That's what keeps it fun for me, right? So I always tell people that with those etudes, there's always some sort of awkwardness or trickiness to them, but it's not because I want to make it awkward or tricky. It's because it sounds cool the way that goes, but then now I have to try to play it. Now I'm not going to make it easier and sacrifice the sound.
Of course.
I want it to sound cool. And, if I have to do a roll with the pinky or something, it's like, well, then I got to do a roll with the pinky. Like, now I got to sit here and kind of work on it myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And if let's say there's something that is, let's say it's a tempo thing that's like, I can play it, but I can't hit the tempo that I want to. I've hit a ceiling. Do you have any methods for kind of pushing through that ceiling?
Yeah, I talk about that a lot in the lesson content because it's something I'm asked about all the time, obviously,
Mm.
like with speed and everything. And I think there's two methods that you see online for pushing past plateaus. The one method is you got to start nice and slow, play it perfectly, and then increase the BPM like a
Mm-hmm.
few at a time, and then play it
Yeah.
perfectly, and then increase the BPM a few at a time. And
Takes
that's a
fucking
very
ages.
that's what I was just about to say. It's such a slow process, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the other one, and I talked about this actually last week in a video, is that to what I call just dive in the deep end and try to stay afloat, like just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
for full speed. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be tense. It's going to be sloppy, but like
Yeah.
you're just forcing your hands to try to play past their comfort zone, right?
Mm.
In my opinion, you have to do both. You have to do like, you have to just go for it and try to fine tune it a little bit at that speed, but then back it off and like
Yeah.
really get control over it, right?
Yeah.
And then go for it
Yeah.
and then back it off. And it's that back and forth process that I think
Yeah.
will get you there sooner,
Mm-hmm.
but not just one or the other. I think you have to do both because, as
Yeah.
you said, like
Yeah.
the slow process, you won't really feel like you're getting anywhere, even though you are,
Mm.
but it won't feel like you are. It's going to
Yeah.
take months to like increase just a tiny bit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I remember like I was having like I used to be that first camp. It was like do it at
mhm.
80 and then do it at
Yeah,
80 for a couple of hours. Now do it at 85. And
yeah,
when I started having lessons with someone, he was he gave me an exercise and it was at 80. It was like groups of 5 at 18, which is manageable for most people. And he went, all right. After about 20 minutes, I'm like, right, I think I've got this. All right. And he went, all right, okay, just speed it up. And he said, take it up to 100. I was like, oh, that's a jump. He went, no, we
yeah,
always want to try and jump like 20 BPM at least. You don't want to really be doing 5 or 10. It's a waste of fucking time. And so I took it up 10 and I literally rolled it for like 30 seconds. He went, right, 120. I
yeah,
rolled it for
yeah,
another 30, 140. And he said,
yeah,
just keep smashing it until you find like the wheels are coming off. And when the wheels feel like they're coming off, back it off 5. And
yes,
that's where you are. And then you just run that for a week. And then you'll, cause his method was once you can nail it simply, and there's absolutely no flaws and it's perfect and every finger is hammering perfectly, the
yeah.
volume is perfect, nothing, there's no dips.
Mhm.
Then you can literally just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then you just
Yeah,
fine tune it, and then that's it. And then, like you said, you just kind of round off the edges. He said you just polish the edge, buffering the edges,
exactly.
and
But also, what people wouldn't realize, especially when they see stuff on social media, is I feel like my technique is far better than it was last year, right? And I've been playing guitar
mm,
for over 25 years of my
mm,
life, and I've gone to school for music, and I like my whole life has been music, but meaning that like you're always just trying to get it a little bit better, right? Like every
yeah,
week, every month, every year, you're just trying to improve, right? So I do feel like I can play a lot of things better than I could even last year, right?
mm,
And I hope that next year
yeah,
I'm looking back on now going, oh yeah, I could do that way better, right? So it's not this like, oh, you practice speed or alternate picking and then you're done. You've
yeah,
accomplished it, right? And then it's like, no, you can always get it a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit tighter, a little more relaxed, a little more
yeah, yeah,
effortless, elegant,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, I have a funny thing though, because a funny story, because also a lot of times with speed, especially when practicing with a metronome, it can be psychological more than physical. You can
yeah,
kind of psych yourself out when you see a certain BPM on a
yeah,
metronome, right? And back when I used to teach in person, I had an adult student who came to me, had been playing for years, and I think he was doing like Flight of the Bumblebee or some crazy
okay,
piece, like some very
yeah,
technical piece. And he said, I can max out. I max out at 120 BPM. I can't go higher than 120 BPM. Like it's
mm-hmm.
just I can't get past that threshold, right?
Right,
And so since we were in person, I was holding the metronome, and I said, okay,
mm-hmm.
let's start nice and slow, and see how you do. And I started at like 80 or something like that, like well below his
Yeah,
his max. But I'm holding the metronome, and without telling him, I'm just increasing it a few BPM every single time without
yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah,
anything, right?
yeah,
Hoping that he doesn't really notice at first, right? And let's do it again. Let's do it again. And okay, let's do it again. And I'm just slowly increasing the metronome without him knowing. And then it finally got to the point where he's like stressing out, like he can't really play it, or
yeah,
it's starting to fall apart. As you said, the
yeah,
wheels
yeah,
are starting to come off, right?
yeah,
And I said, what BPM do you think we're at? And he said 120. And I'm like, we're at 140.
Yeah.
You're way
Yeah.
past what you
Yeah.
think your threshold is, right?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
lot of people, it's not natural to push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's where like a teacher
Yeah.
comes in, and it's like usually you're capable of more than you feel like you are. It's just it's a little scary to push to that
Yeah.
point, right?
I mean, I
But
think
I
a
do
lot.
that with students all the time, where it's like
Yeah.
they're like 120, and then we try it just a few times at 130,
Mm.
and then we go back to 120, and they're like, it feels kind of easy in
Mm.
comparison. It's like, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
the pushing past long past where you think you can go, and then bringing it back is I think is a good method as well. Like even
I
if you push it to say 150, whatever it is you're working at
Yeah,
or
yeah,
working
yeah,
on, and it's just you're hitting 10% of the notes. It's a bag of
right.
shit. But then as soon as you pull it back, you're like, oh, because you.
Relief.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
This is easier now, and then you
yeah.
relax a little more, and it's like, oh, I can do it.
I
Uh,
always use the analogy that if you're trying to, bench press 100 pounds, try to bench
mm,
press 130 pounds first,
yeah,
and then you're gonna be like, oh, thank God, it's only 100.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But it's the
yeah.
exact same thing with speed. It's like whatever you
Yeah,
think your threshold is, just go past that
yeah.
and then back it off. And again, it's also nowadays with the lesson content and the stuff you see on social media, people expect everything to be perfect. They expect
Mm,
like I should be able to play that perfectly, right?
yeah,
And it's like you have to be okay with it not being perfect at first, but you're pushing yourself past what's comfortable, right?
yeah,
If it is perfect, then you're in your comfort zone and you're not pushing yourself past
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
So like when I when it comes to like improvisation and I'm trying to practice improvisation, I'm not I'm not going for like a perfect guitar solo that's like
Mm,
studio recording ready. I'm trying to throw ideas out and see what sticks, right? I'm hoping for some new idea. So meaning I have to take chances, take risks instead
mm,
of keep it comfortable and
yeah,
do what I feel comfortable with, right? So
yeah,
it's yeah, you have to be okay with it not sounding that great when you're
yeah,
working on something.
yeah. Definitely, it's like the whole. I mean, I was going to pivot into things like pre-recorded fake players on Instagram, but I think this will lead
Sure.
nicely into it. Like it has conditioned a lot of people, even me, and I'm sure maybe yourself as well. That when you see somebody play something, you're like, "Wow, that is clean as shit, man. That is. I need to work on whatever it is that I've just watched." But also, there's you're sitting there scrolling for a little bit. You like you scroll one. There's some guy blazing these hybrid country banjo rolls. You're like, oh, I need to
Hmm.
work on that. The next video is a 10-year-old kid in China like blazing some classical stuff. You're like,
Yep.
my classical playing these is well, it's terrible. And then it's like some 16-year-old kid blazing bebop lines. You're like, oh my
Yep.
god, like fuck this. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Like that plays a massive part in my practice. Like trying to first of all find what it is that I want to say with my instrument in the genre that I want to be in. But
I
also I
like the
want
way you say that too. The
mm,
what you want to say with your instrument. I suggest that to people all the time. Like the guitar, in my opinion, I'm biased, of course, as a guitarist, but the guitar is the best instrument when it comes to self-expression. Like I don't think there is an instrument that's as expressive as the guitar because we have bending and vibrato and all these nuances that can make the guitar kind of sing. You can't bend and vibrato on a piano, right?
yeah,
Like
we
it's
can really piss piano players off with some of those
right.
microtonal bends,
Yeah,
unless they
yeah, yeah.
start pulling.
But
Yeah,
it sounds so like take out microtonal bends from Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it loses
yeah,
so much of its sound, right? So, my point is that with the guitar, it's supposed to be self-expressive, right? So you have
mm,
to find what you like to do with the guitar, and with social media, a lot of people feel like they should be able to do everything, and then unfortunately, they can't do kind of anything
anything.
well,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I don't mean that mean, but you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of specialize in what
yeah,
you like to do, right? And that's why and again, this is all stuff I share with students because I think it's important, but you don't hear it on social media. Is like if someone leaves a comment saying that they don't like my playing,
mm,
that's totally fine. They're totally entitled to that opinion, but that is never going to change how I play the guitar.
yeah,
Like if it's not for you, it's not for you. But like this is the way I like to play the guitar, right? So
mm,
it's That's most important, right?
Yeah.
I'm never going to change the way I play the guitar to try to appeal to someone who doesn't like what I do. Like
Yeah.
that's absurd to me.
It is.
You know
It
what I mean?
is. And like,
It's
how
like
did you?
changing the way you speak because someone doesn't like your voice. It's like, that's my
Yeah.
voice. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. So talking about like the voices and being an expression, like, was there anything that you had to lose or get rid of in order to kind of find your voice? In terms of maybe in terms of like style or techniques or like, you know what, economy picking isn't for me. It's just it doesn't
Yeah.
suit or anything like that.
Well, that's actually true. Yeah.
All right, okay, fair enough.
I'm not an economy picker like at all. Whenever I try lines from players who do economy pick, it's always very challenging, and I'm like, can I just alternate pick this? You know, can I
Yeah, yeah,
can I do this my own way? But more yeah, like I'm not afraid to just play what the way I want to play. If it has to be what I want to hear first.
mm,
And I'm talking artistically, meaning like if I'm putting out an original solo, original song, or you know, if I'm playing the guitar for self-expression, then all
mm,
that matters is, do I like it, right? And then you will find an audience that some people like it and some people don't, but
yeah.
you don't have to appeal to everybody. That I think that would be a terrible mistake to try to appeal to everybody.
I mean, yeah. If you attempt to appeal to everybody, then you appeal to nobody. And I
Yeah,
think finding your niche or your corner and your people
exactly.
is kind of the goal.
Exactly.
It's what I think it's one of the goals.
I had a comment from someone on one of my videos a while back saying how much they hate guitar solos. Like, you know, oh, and I actually replied saying, you are on the wrong channel.
Yeah,
This is,
you want pack your shit up and get out.
this is not for you.
Coldplay's next door. But yeah, I mean, how about your view on like guitar based music at the moment? Because right up to, and I've searched mentally, and I don't know what it's like in Canada and the US, but
Hmm.
over in the UK, it was kind of 2005, 2006 was the last resurgence of like guitar music with bands like the Arctic Monkeys and even the Killers. Like they all came around in that era, and they kind of
Hmm.
some of them continue. Even bands like Coldplay, they came out late 90s, early 2000s. But we haven't really seen anything, or maybe I'm not paying attention to anything in the last 10 years or so. I don't know if that's,
Well,
do you experience that?
I would say Polyphia is the big one in the last
Yeah.
10 years. And uh, with Tim Henson, I have such respect for him, and I I admire so much about him. Uh, I don't play the guitar in the way Tim Henson plays, but I genuinely think he's kind of one, you know, a once every 10 years type player that comes along and like totally changes the game and inspires a whole new generation to play the guitar. And the number of young kids, teenagers who have picked up the guitar because they want to sound like Tim Henson is,
Yeah.
and I'm always such a champion of the guitar. So it's
Yeah.
like anything, like when Guitar Hero came out, the game, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great. Like it just makes people want to play the guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so someone like Tim Henson, I admire him a lot. Even if it's a different style than I play, that doesn't matter at all. But just and also to play the guitar in a completely different way than
Mm.
anyone ever really did before.
Yeah.
That
I
also
imagine,
takes a lot of courage. Like it
yeah.
takes a lot of it's the same mentality that like an Eddie Van Halen or a
I was
Jimi
just going to
Hendrix would
say,
have,
yeah.
right? Like
And
they
like
don't.
hearing Van Halen for the first time must have been like, what the hell is this?
I I can't fully fathom it, but I can imagine what that would have been like, right?
Yeah.
But it is hard to imagine in like 1978,
Yeah.
like and there is no YouTube. There's no like you can't
Yeah.
just go watch a video of how he does it,
Yeah.
but it's all sound, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
how is he doing this? Is it
What is going
real?
on?
Is it a guitar? Like, you
Yeah.
know, and but then it's the same thing with Eddie. Like I don't think anyone could care less of how other people played the guitar before me.
Yeah.
Eddie's like, I'm gonna do my own thing, right? And again,
Yeah.
that takes a certain like courage that there's a lot of people when they play the guitar, it's like, you know, am I doing things wrong? Am I
Mm.
right? And it's like, well, there's really no such thing, right? It's like if you like
Yeah.
the sound of what you're producing, then
Yeah.
it's valid, right? I always joke that if Eddie Van Halen tried to audition for Berkeley, he probably wouldn't get in because he does everything wrong. And then you get into Berkeley and you study Eddie's music.
Yeah.
Makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it was a unique approach to the guitar, which, you know, from what I've heard, like from interviews with him, it was just an amalgamation of various different, like Jimmy Page's kind of thing, Hendrix's kind of thing, and, you know, and then just plugging it into a Marshall, turning it up to 10, and not really giving a fuck what anyone thought.
Not at all. Yeah,
Mm.
like not at all.
But it was also his rhythm playing was really
His
like
rhythm
it never
playing,
gets talked about really, and I think his
not
rhythm
enough.
playing is just phenomenal.
So you know what's funny is in the car not too long ago, I put on the first album.
Mm.
And of course, with Van Halen, you got to like turn it all the way up. Like you got
Yeah,
to just blast it, right? And you know how when you listen to some music or listen to some players when you're younger, but then you grow up and you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't as impressive as I remember it. You know,
yeah,
like as a kid, it wowed me, but now it's like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Van Halen is the opposite for me. Now that I'm older and more experienced and more trained musically, I go back and listen to him. Like I'm noticing like the nuances, the rhythm playing, how
mm.
tight he is
Yeah,
with the rhythm section, which also like especially Van Halen 1, I'm fairly certain they recorded that album live, meaning like
yeah. I
they're
think
all
so.
in the room together recording it, right? So it's like he's not sitting there beside the producer tracking it, punching in, punching out,
Mm.
taking, you know, it's like you play the song start to finish
Yeah,
and try to get it down, right?
yeah,
And he's just so on the whole time. He's throwing in all these like improvised fills, but he's coming right back
yeah,
perfectly in time. It's like I appreciate his playing even more now
mm.
as I'm older than I did when
Yeah,
I'm younger.
yeah.
And
I like
he's
it.
just the whole package.
Yeah, Van Halen 1 and 2. Whenever I get new students, it's like, "Have you listened to this? Go listen to it." And I said, "You need to like you said, you need to listen to it loud.
Yeah.
Try not to listen to it with headphones because you want to annoy your mum and dad because that's what they're in for." But yeah, like like I couldn't really agree more. Like I think it's "I'm the One" with that riff, that dunk the bunk the bunk the bunk the
Well,
ba dunk
actually,
the bunk.
I'm
Is that
practicing
"I'm the
that
One"?
right now
It's
because
such a fucking bitch.
Monday, I'm spoiling it, but Monday would have been Eddie Van Halen's birthday, right?
Right?
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get something ready to post for
Okay.
what would have been his birthday, and I'm working on "I'm the One." But it's yeah, it, it's funny. Eddie is definitely my favorite guitar player of like he's number one for me.
Yeah.
And then people ask because I post a lot of covers, like who is hardest to emulate, and it's Eddie.
Mm.
Even though he's
Yeah.
my number one favorite, it's
Yeah.
like it's so hard to get anywhere close to his overall sound because no one plays the guitar the way he plays. Like
Yeah.
it's you have to be a little crazy to play the guitar the way he plays. Like you can't be a disciplined, practiced musician and play like Eddie, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like
Yeah.
he's just a madman on the
Yeah.
instrument, right? And but in a contained way. It's really weird, but it's
Controlled madness.
exactly,
Yeah. But it's
exactly.
also really like listen to like it's just his rhythm playing. Like Panama is just it's tight, but it's so loose. It's so
It's
there's a
so
lot.
relaxed, it's so
Yeah.
groovy,
Yeah.
but he's so on at the exact
Mm.
same time. Like it's where I also love Jimmy Page from Zeppelin. Like he's a massive influence on me, but you can hear more like sloppiness with his playing in the recording, which I don't say negatively. I think it's like an
Yeah.
actual cool part of Zeppelin. But Eddie's like just so on the whole time, and
Yeah.
it's while having that kind of improvised feel. It's
Yeah. Yeah. We could all go back and
not too
just
many
learn.
people can do that.
Yeah. Uh, I just before I pivot into the next question,
Yeah,
I've my daughter comes back from school in 20 minutes, and I'd kick myself if we didn't talk about just getting better. Because
yeah,
I could talk about Van Halen all fucking night. But so what's
yeah.
your
We'll have a separate episode for Van Halen.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe I'll do a Van Halen episode. Like, what's your approach to getting better, and how has getting better changed over the years?
So my approach to getting better in general with students, that might surprise some people, is that at the end of the day, as musicians, what you are hoping to do, and also what you get into the guitar to do, is play music, right? Like,
Mm.
that's no one ever picks up the guitar for the first time hoping to learn the 7 modes of the harmonic minor
Yeah.
scale. Like, it's just, no one's ever done that, right? But it's amazing how many players I find go down this rabbit hole where they're not playing music anymore, and they're just
Mm.
spending all their time with the guitar, like practicing scales and doing a chromatic scale as fast as they can with the metronome, and that's all they do with the
Yeah.
guitar. It's amazing to me. So getting better is, for it doesn't matter where the student is. It could be their first week, it could be 20 years into playing, is finding music that is challenging to play and trying to play that music
Mm.
with the music or a backing track, meaning that, like, and again, it's almost like we were talking about earlier with the metronome, of just going past your comfort zone. Playing with music is that carrot dangling in front of you that you have to try to keep up with, right? It's
Mm.
very hard for you to put that kind of pressure on yourself without something to keep up with. So that's what I do for me. If I want to challenge myself, I'll pick a Guthrie Govan or a Jason Becker or
Yeah.
Dream Theater, or something challenging, something
Yeah.
hard. But it's like, can I play this? And sometimes at first, 70% speed feels like incredibly fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you just keep going until you can get to around 100, and then the final suggestion is to play with a backing track. And the reason for that is that once you replace the guitar in
Mm.
the song, it's so much more obvious, all the nuances that sound different from you
Yeah. Yeah.
versus their, like, perfect guitar take. And is your timing as good as you think it is your tone
Mm.
sounding good, are you clean, like, and all those things are going to make you so much better. But in my opinion, in a fun way, where instead of just some exercise, right, it's,
Yeah.
you're playing music, you're playing songs, and it's fun, right?
Yeah.
So I still do that. I still choose songs and music that I want to play. And then when I practice certain things, it's only to fine tune the stuff that I need to play that music, right?
Mm.
So it's,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, if I want to play a Jason Becker thing, I might have to, like, brush up on sweeping a little bit beforehand, but it's to play a Jason Becker piece, is my
Yeah.
point.
And
Yeah,
do you? I assume, like, your benchmark to whether or not you can do it is, can you play that piece to the record or to the backing track
yeah, yeah,
comfortably?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and if someone said, "Hey, you have a guitar, like, play me something," like, could
Mm.
you, and maybe not pick it up, not warmed up, not
Yeah.
not to
Check
that
it.
level,
Check out
but
this shredding light.
but you would have it internalized, you would have it
Yeah.
memorized, you don't need to get the music in front of you, and, like, it. Or the other thing I say is, if a cover band said, "Hey, we're doing that song next weekend, do you want to come up
Yeah.
on stage and play it with us?"
Yeah.
Like, that would terrify most guitar players.
Yeah.
But it's really good to have a couple songs in your repertoire that you can do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
What, and the other thing, like, you mentioned, like, players like Tim Henson, like, really pushing, like, the boundaries of guitar. What I've noticed is that young students, are able to get technically so much more advanced, so
Mhm.
much quicker, certainly than I did. I'm sure, certainly than most people, with things like YouTube and Instagram and,
Yeah.
like, sheet music just being available at the click of a button, that they're able to get
Yeah.
from beginner to fucking advanced players. If you want to sit down and really do it, you could probably do it in 18 months. Um,
Mhm.
do you think that people are missing out on something? Is there a part of
Mhm.
learning music that they're skipping in order to
Yeah.
get to that top level technique stuff? And what do you think that is?
It's not so much to get the high level technique, but everything now is easily accessible visually,
Hmm.
and no one's testing their ear trying to
Yeah.
learn stuff. And the ear, like, before YouTube, that's, like, all you had, or you
Mm.
hope that it was in a Guitar World magazine that they have a
Yeah.
transcription of that song. Hope,
Yeah.
right? And then also, transcriptions were never perfect before, because we didn't really know how they were doing it, right? And
Yeah.
now, when a student brings in a song in a lesson, I'm able to quickly look at a live version to see, like, am I in the right part of the fretboard that they're in? Like, am I playing
Yeah.
it physically the same way? but people I don't think are really training their ears as much,
Hmm.
and people forget that music is sound, right?
Yeah.
It's not a visual experience; it's a sound, right? So
Mm.
I think ear training and developing your ear is immensely important, and that's also where you develop kind of an inner sense of melody as well. So if you're improvising over a backing track, you can almost hear what you want to have come next, right? Where having your ear guide you instead of your hands, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes in my videos, people will comment that sometimes that my eyes are closed, right? And it's like, oh, he's playing it with his eyes closed. And I'm not ever doing it for that reason. But when I close my eyes, I'm forced to listen
Hmm.
to what I'm doing. And I have to have my ear. Obviously, if I'm like moving around the fretboard like crazy, like I'm going to be looking,
Yeah.
obviously, right? But if I'm like staying in one position, I want to listen to what I'm doing and I want to connect to it that way. Where it's funny, you even have students and people concerned with how things look, like how their hand looks when they're
Yeah.
playing. It's like, well, does it feel comfortable? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how
Mm.
it looks.
Yeah.
That
Do you?
What do you
I was,
think? Does that make sense?
yeah. No. I mean, I think listening for me is the thing that is missing the most. Um,
Yeah.
and I have said this on every episode. I will continue to say this on every episode, and that is that nobody's really listening to music. I don't. I'm sure it's different if like older students or if you're teaching in a music college or a university. Like those kids have to be listening. But
You would hope so. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I teach at both primary school and secondary school, high school,
Cool.
and when I ask new students, what music do they listen to? Most of the time, they're saying that they don't listen to music, or
Hmm.
they just listen to like playlists. They don't really have like their favorite bands or favorite artists. It's really rare when someone comes in, they go, "Oh, I love this.
Yep.
I want to do this." I'm like, because then I'm like easy peasy. I know exactly what to do. But
Right.
when they're like, "Oh,
Exactly.
I don't really," I listen to the thing that I listen to a bit of that, a playlist. I put some drum and bass on. I'm like, well, fuck, all right, okay. So
Hmm.
now I've got the added job of introducing you to music that we can first of all play, and that stuff that I hope that you would like and enjoy, and you can
Exactly.
because you've come for guitar lessons for some reason, and it can't just be you tripped, fell through the door, and here you are. You're here.
Yeah.
Something's brought you here. What is it?
I totally agree. Those are the hardest students,
Mm,
and nowadays I don't really get too many of those because if you're coming to me through social media, it's
yeah.
because you like what I do and like
Mm,
you're already invested most of the
yeah.
time, right? But yeah, when I taught in person and you'd get some new students and they don't really listen to music, those are the toughest students because it's funny, even if a student comes for their very first lesson ever, they've never touched a guitar, but they're like, oh my God, Metallica Master of
Mm,
Puppets is like the best song in the world. It's like, well, you know what? That's not usually what I would start with on a
yeah.
first lesson, but I'm going to teach you the first couple notes
Yeah.
because it's going to kind of sound like it. And
Yeah.
you are going to be hooked. You are going to go home and practice this all day, every day, because you can kind of make a sound like Metallica, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's not what I would normally suggest on the first lesson, but it's what you're interested in and it's what is inspiring you. So stay with that, right?
Yeah.
I would never ever have a student come in and say, "Oh my God, Metallica, Metallica," and then I'm like, "Well, you got to learn your major scale first." It's like
Yeah.
that's not gonna that's just gonna drive them away, right?
Yeah.
We can come back to that later,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like yeah, try to play some of the music. The very first time you can make a sound on the guitar that is a song you've heard before, like you're hooked.
Mm. What
You're
what
in,
song what song
right?
was it for you?
It's such a good question because I started so young. I started when I was like 8 years old. I honestly
Mm.
don't remember like
Okay.
the stuff I learned. Um, but I was hooked on guitar and I wanted to learn as much as I could. And I do remember even as a kid, as soon as I learned like two or three chords, I was trying to like write a song with those two or three
Okay.
chords. Like and that always comes back to trying to do something musical with everything you're learning. Where it's like
Yeah.
if all I know is a C and G chord, I'm gonna make a song with C and G chord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
want to create something with this. It's the same
Yeah.
with technique. And if I learn some obscure scale, the first thing I want to do is try to create something with it to, you know, use that sound, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
right?
How are you like at learning other people's? Let's stick with solos. Like, do you learn other people's solos note for note? Are you happy to do that? Is that a thing that you do?
Well, I've been doing content creation for just over 4 years now. And before getting into content, I would have never learned solos note for note. I would have
Yeah.
learned them like 80% and then put my own twist on them. Like
Sure.
that was always my thing. But the there's probably pros and cons to it, but getting into content, if you post a solo that's like 80% there, like
Mm.
people kind of want it to be 100%, right?
Mm.
And so it did change my approach where I said, let's see if I can actually get this like 100%, where I'm even for some solos, I'm even trying to tone match as much as I can. Like how
Of course.
close
Yeah.
to the record can I get this sounding?
Yeah.
As just a fun personal challenge. But if I were to go perform live, I wouldn't do that. I would play it the way I want to play it, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
I would, yeah. And again, going back to the great guitarists, like when Jimi Hendrix did All Along the Watchtower, was he trying to like nail Bob Dylan's tone?
Yeah.
Like, of course not. That would never happen. Or
Yeah.
Eddie did You Really Got Me. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be a Van Halen version of You
Yeah.
Really Got Me, right?
Yeah.
You want to have your own sound, but it's just also like I love the production side of music and
Hmm.
recording and mixing and everything. So it's also fun from that standpoint where it's like, can I even mix this with the backing track to sound like the recording? It's
Yeah.
if Eddie's guitar is panned hard left and there's reverb, it's like I'm going to do that in my cover just to make it sound even
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Eddie. So my approach has changed with that a lot.
Hmm.
But that's a personal preference that people need to make of how close they want to get solos.
Yeah.
If you want that bend to sound exactly like their bend, that's okay.
Yeah.
But if I bend it the way I want to bend it, then it's funny.
That's
People
okay
will
too.
comment like, your vibrato's different than theirs. It's like, yeah, I hope so. Like
Yeah.
that's my vibrato
Because that's
like,
mine. Yeah. I've been working on that, you asshole. Thanks for
But it's
noticing.
not supposed to be a complete impression. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be me playing
Yeah. I
that
heard
solo,
somebody once say, I was on a studio session or a rehearsal session or something, and somebody said there was another guitar player, and they said, "Oh, you're not quite doing the solo right." He said, "Well, if you want it like that," he said, "I'm not a tape player. Just I'm showing my age now. I'm not a tape player. If you want the real thing, just play the fucking tape." I was like, "Oh, okay. Steve's got a
Yeah.
point."
Yeah,
I'm gonna
100%.
one more question before I go because I'm clock watching with my daughter coming in from school.
Yep.
What did you learn about yourself from doing that last 20%? Nothing
That's
at
a good
all. It was
question.
easy.
No. It was a hard challenge at first
Because I'm very much the same.
because-
I'm very much, I'll do 80%. I get the low hanging fruit. The stuff I like, the stuff I don't really like, I'll discard it and do my own thing. But
Yeah. You know what's funny though is I'll post solos where I feel like I've got this as close as I can possibly get this. The tone is close, and then people will comment being like, it's so cool to hear your own spin on it. It's like, I didn't think I was putting my own spin on this, it's like, but I like it because it again, coming back to what we were talking about, it forces me to get out of my comfort zone. And
yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. I mean, it comes back to finding our own voice and what do we want to say with our instrument. Jamie, I'm gonna leave it there. Oh yeah. No, go on. Finish your thought. Finish your thought. Yeah. 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 Mm. Jamie, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I couldn't. I could do it longer if the fucking tech software hadn't crapped out on me. We could have done it longer, but who knows? Like, maybe I'm happy to do it. Do it. We'll do it again another time down the road. I do. I really appreciate. I really appreciate your time. When I sent you the message, it was a less than a shot in the dark because I know how many followers you've got, hundreds of thousands, and I thought, well, this will probably just get lost in his inbox. Like, shit the bed. Jamie got back to me. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Really, really amazing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of your work. Really enjoying it. And if I'm ever just outside Toronto, I'll give you a shout. We can grab a coffee or something. Yeah, yeah. And if you're ever find yourself in London with some time on your hands, drop me a message. All right. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll speak soon. Bye bye.